Hello and welcome back. Hopefully you've completed 9-2, the anatomy of the digestive system, and we went through all the main structures and the accessory structures in the last lesson. So once you complete 9-2, you basically know the digestive system and how it works and the 4 different phases. So today we're just going to talk about the process of digestion, add a little bit more detail to what you went through last lesson. So I'm assuming you know all the structures that go with the digestive system. The first thing we'll talk about today is something called peristalsis. So that's the movement caused by muscle contractions. It pushes food through the esophagus and the intestine. So you know when you eat, food goes downwards from your mouth and the esophagus into your stomach. So your esophagus is lined with these muscles. So as they contract, it pushes the food down from your mouth into the stomach. So it's these muscular contractions that push the food in the right direction. So here's a fun fact, and yes, a lot of our fun facts has to do with vomit, but it is the digestive system. So when you vomit, what's happening is that the muscles in your stomach and intestines go in reverse. So normally peristalsis works to push the food going downwards from the mouth into your stomach. But when you're sick and you're throwing up, the food's going the opposite way than it should. So peristalsis is pushing it upwards. So when you throw up, that's reverse peristalsis. So instead of pushing food out, it's up. So the next time you are sick and throwing up, I'm sure you're going to say, oh, look, peristalsis is pushing this up against the way it should be going. There you go, your fun fact of the day. Sphincters. Students seem to like that word, sphincters. A sphincter is a ring of muscle that opens and closes. So there are 3 different types of sphincters in the digestive system. 2 of them are found in the stomach. So the top of the stomach has the cardiac sphincter. So again, think cardiac, top near your heart. So the cardiac is the top sphincter and the pyloric is the bottom. So basically they're almost like a gate or a drawstring passage. So it's kind of funny, think about it. What if you didn't have a sphincter? Then the food you eat would go right through your stomach right out. So you wouldn't have time to chemically and physically break it down in your stomach. So you need to have the food kind of trapped in your stomach. You want to hold it there for a little bit so it can physically mix it up. Mechanical digestion, the churning of the muscles, plus there's going to be a lot of chemicals being added to break it down. So you need to have chemical and mechanical digestion take place. So you want to have that food stay in the stomach for a little bit. So the cardiac sphincter is kind of like the drawstring pouch or gate at the top. Pyloric is like the gate at the bottom. So they open and close so they can control, the cardiac controls what comes in, pyloric controls what leaves. And then the third sphincter is an anal sphincter found in the rectum. Students seem to find that word funny, anal sphincter, but we're going to live in biology, be mature, these are all anatomy terms. And again, it's a ring of muscle that controls when the waste leaves the body. So those are the 3 different types of sphincters in the digestive system. Small intestine. We did talk about the small intestine last lesson, and you did label it on 9-2. We're going to talk about it again because last lesson we said the small intestine, that's where the absorption of nutrients happens. And that's the whole point of eating. You eat food because we're heterotroph. We can't make our own food, so we have to get our energy from our food. And then when you eat, the food is not actually valuable or useful until you absorb those nutrients out of the food that you've eaten. So the real work of the digestive system happens in the small intestine. So that's what we're talking about it again today. So the absorption of nutrients happen in the small intestine through something called villi. Villi is plural, villus is singular. So they're finger-like projections. So these are villi, plural. Each one is a singular villus. Now, they increase surface area. Lab 6, we talked about the benefits of increased surface area. That was on your test. The higher surface area means it's more efficient at diffusion. So if you have higher surface area, you're able to absorb more nutrients out of the food you ate, making it more efficient. Like I said, our human body is designed just perfectly for everything we need. And then the nutrients that you absorb from your food actually go into the bloodstream and into the cells. So we talked last unit about cells need to get nutrients in and waste out. So we're talking about digestive system. Later on we'll talk about the circulatory system. But you see that your circulatory system and your digestive system do overlap. We're all connected. All of our systems are connected to each other. So that's small intestine. Oh, another fun fact, about 50 tons of food will pass through your stomach over your lifetime. There you go. Our first fun fact now about vomit. The large intestine. We did talk about the large intestine in 9-2, but we're going to talk about it again. So I talked about absorption. The small intestine absorbs your nutrients. The large intestine absorbs water. So they absorb different things. So absorption of water, we did talk about osmoregulation in Unit 1. Your body has to control homeostasis. You need to absorb the right amount of water. If you have too much or too little water, both of those cause problems. And yes, again, grade 11 biology, we can be mature with this term. Constipation is when too much water is removed. And I think that makes sense if you think about it. Diarrhea is when too little water is removed. So if you remove too much water from your food that's traveling through, then there's not enough left to travel out with the waste that's leaving, and that's constipation. Diarrhea, if too little is absorbed, then too much water is being released, and that's diarrhea. And I won't read through it, but we did talk about stool again last lesson. So like I said, when you go to the doctor, they might ask for a stool sample because there's a lot of things that characterize it. So, if you're really bored on the weekend, you can just see the symptoms and signs of stool from severe constipation to severe diarrhea. What a lovely lesson. Okay, and that's the end of this one. So your homework assignment today is 9-5, digestion in the small intestine. Again, reading through the text, you fill in the blank, label the diagram, but I think it does an excellent summary of the structures and processes involved. And our joke of the day, did you hear the joke about the small intestine? It was villi funny. Villi funny? Or maybe villi funny? Really funny? Villi funny? Okay, it's hard to find a good joke. Okay, so good luck with 9-5 today and your assignment. Bye.